desert, running dry on the tip of my tongue. I can taste your lies, how to measure the love you throw around. I could never hold you down. One of us will have to take a bow. Feeling you so close to me, we drive around.
It's November 18th, 10 full days away from Thanksgiving. A woman sits at her desk, in her office, in her large house in Rochester, New York. She stares out the window at the street below. She knows what's coming. She knows her plan will attract the attention her cause deserves. She reminds herself that she will and has devoted her everything to this cause. But still, she stares out the window, unable to focus on her typewriter. Though she is a brave, righteous woman, she is not without fear. Take a deep breath, she tells herself. When they come, they come. What happens, happens. Have faith that your work is God's work and focus on what you are doing now. She lowers her gaze to her black typewriter. She thinks about the letter she is writing, or rather tries, despite all else going on, to bring her attention to it. To focus on the clacking of the keys as she types, to focus on expressing herself clearly, steadfastly, and elegantly. She is set on getting her point across, both in the letter and in life. Knock, knock, knock. Those 3 ominous knocks reverberate through the thick walls of the large house. Though they are not loud, they are bold and foreboding. The woman takes a shaky breath and stands on timid legs. Your mission is just, she tells herself. Give everything to it. God will prevail. She swallows and descends the long staircase toward the front door entryway. The year is 1872. Susan B. Anthony is moments away from being taken into custody by a U.S. Marshal. Her crime, you may ask? Casting a ballot. As I type this, I stare at my computer screen. I think about the last election, the 2020 election. I think about the days leading up to it, the tension that you could have sliced with a knife in my neighborhood, as more and more houses put up yard signs, each displaying in capital letters one of 2 men's names. I remember the flags that started to arrive in the neighborhood and banners and little garden ornaments. And I remember my friends texting in a group chat a week later. I remember reading my friend's text and finding out who had won the 2020 presidential election. I was 17 in 2020. I'm 18 now. This is a video about me registering to vote and why I can. The answer to that why is a who. Many who's, actually, but for this video, we're only going to focus on one of those who's. Susan B. Anthony. And one of her many brave, visionary acts that brought attention to the suffragist movement and progressed the country forward toward giving women the right to vote. When Anthony opened her front door on that foreboding November day, November 18th, 1872, a U.S. Marshal stood outside. His name was E.G. Keeney. He was used to arresting petty criminals, not nationally recognized figures such as Anthony. Keeney was embarrassed by what he had to tell her. Miss Anthony, you're under arrest. At your convenience, please go downtown, he said shyly. Anthony, bold and brave, knew what her mission was. Her mission had no time for convenience. She was making a statement, and statements cannot be made quietly. You can handcuff me and take me downtown right now if you think that I'm a common criminal, she said. The shy man and the bold woman boarded a streetcar heading downtown toward the Rochester police office. When asked for her 5-cent fare, Anthony announced that Keeney would be paying it as she was traveling at the expense of the U.S. government. She made sure everyone on the streetcar knew that she was being arrested, and for what. 13 days prior, Anthony and her 3 sisters had made their defiant act. An act that many take for granted today. The 4 women had marched down Main Street to the barber shop in Rochester and done something that would be illegal for American women to do for another 38 years. They cast their votes in the U.S. presidential election. For the next 13 days, Anthony waited for what she knew was coming, her arrest. She was indicted for that crime after Keeney brought her to the police station, and tried, after a 6-month delay, by a male judge and all-male jury, as all judges and juries in those days were. During the 6-month delay, Anthony, who was free on bail, went on a lecture circuit, raising awareness for her mission and capitalizing on the publicity of her arrest, on her willingness to face time in prison in order to fight for what she believed in. The judge refused to even allow the jury to vote on Anthony's guilt, instead simply directing them to a guilty verdict. He fined Anthony $100. Anthony, in her steadfast bravery, told him what she thought of the current state of women's rights and whether or not she was going to pay the $100 fine. This probably won't come as a surprise. She refused to pay it. I shall never pay $1 of your unjust penalty. I shall persistently continue to urge all women to the practical recognition of the old revolutionary maxim that resistance to tyranny is obedience to God, said Anthony in 1873. 148 years later, I'm recognizing her maxim. I'm registering to vote.